There's this kind of weird magic happening right on your phone, especially in your financial apps. They seem to know what you're thinking, what you need, maybe even before you do. But it's not really magic. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how the mind reading works.
I mean, you've definitely felt this, right? You have a great weekend, maybe splurge a little bit, and then bam, Monday morning, your banking app sends you a little notification about a smart savings feature. It's kind of creepy, almost like it's listening in. But it's not a psychic, and I promise you it is no coincidence at all. So why are they all doing this? Well, because it works, and it works really well. Check this out. A whopping 81% of us are way more likely to buy from or engage with a brand that gives us a personalized experience. And in finance, an industry that's literally built on trust, making you feel like they get you isn't just a nice little bonus feature, it's the entire game plan.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. That feeling of being seen, of being understood by an app, that's not a fluke. It's a really sophisticated strategy called personalization, and it is the secret engine that's powering the smartest financial apps on your phone right now.
So what is it really? At its heart, personalization is all about turning raw data into a genuine conversation. The app takes a look at your unique financial footprint, where you're spending, how you're saving, and it uses that info to talk directly to you. It's the difference between a brand shouting the same message at everyone with a megaphone and that same brand leaning in to whisper some helpful advice that's meant only for you.
So for instance, let's say an app like Mint notices you've been eating out a lot. It's not going to send you some generic, boring article about how to save money. No way. It's going to get specific. It'll suggest creating a budget just for your dining out category. Now that is personalization in action. It's creating real, actual value based on your real, actual life.
All right, so why are companies pouring so much money and effort into this? It's simple. The results are just undeniable. When you feel like a piece of content was made just for you, it just cuts through all the digital noise and forges a real connection. And you can actually measure the impact. Let's look at a real-world case, Robinhood. When they shifted from sending out generic, one-size-fits-all emails to personalized ones, sending investment ideas based on what a user was actually interested in, they saw engagement shoot up by 29%. I mean, a 29% jump. That's not a tiny little bump, that is a game changer. It gets people to stop scrolling and actually take action. So what does all this really mean for you, the user? Well, it boils down to getting a better, more human experience. First, when an app seems to understand your financial situation, it builds trust, which leads to the second point. Instead of vague advice, you get tailored solutions that speak directly to your goals, whether that's tackling debt or saving for retirement. And all that comes together to create a much, much better experience, where the app feels less like a clunky tool and more like a genuinely helpful partner. Okay, but how do these companies know if their personalization efforts are actually hitting the mark? They don't just cross their fingers and hope. Nope. They perform what's called a content health checkup. Think of it like a digital detective mission to figure out what's really connecting with you and what's just getting ignored. Now, the fancy official name for this whole process is a content personalization audit. And its purpose is actually pretty simple. It's a deep dive to evaluate and fine-tune their strategy. They're combing through everything they do, looking for what's not working. And more importantly, looking for those golden, missed opportunities to connect with you in a more powerful way.
Before they can start fixing anything, they've got to know what success even looks like. So they track these key metrics to see if they're moving the needle in the right direction. For example, click-through rate. Are you actually clicking on the links and suggestions? If it's low, the goal is to get it high. Then there's bounce rate. Are you opening the app and leaving right away? That's a high bounce rate, and they want it to be super low. And session duration. Are you sticking around? They want that number to be as long as possible. It's all about turning those before stats into those much better after results.
And the audit itself? It's actually a pretty straightforward 5-step journey. First, they just dive into the raw data, looking at what you and other users are doing. Then, step 2, they check for relevance. Is this content actually useful to different types of people? From there, they analyze the channels. Is email working better than an in-app notification? Step 4 is huge. Consistency. Is the message the same and cohesive everywhere?
And finally, they circle right back to the metrics to pinpoint exactly where they need to get better. It's a really methodical hunt for improvement.
Right, so you know they aren't doing all this detective work with just a pen and paper. Companies have a super powerful set of tools that lets them get this job done, giving them this incredibly deep understanding of how you're interacting with their product. So let's open up the Digital Detectives Toolkit. You've got the essentials like Google Analytics, which tells them the who, what, and where of their audience. Then there are tools like SEMrush that help them see how they're stacking up in online searches. But here's where it gets really fascinating. Tools like Hotjar. This stuff literally creates heat maps of their app, showing them exactly where you're clicking, tapping, and scrolling. It's like seeing through your eyes. Put it all together, and they have an unbelievably detailed picture of what you're doing.
So when you put it all together, all this tech, all this data, all this analysis, what's the real point? Well, for the best companies out there, it's not just about trying to sell you another product. It's about using this entire process to build a stronger, more meaningful relationship with you by delivering real, tangible value that actually helps you with your finances.
And all of this leads us to the big final question we have to ask ourselves. We've seen how powerful this tech is, and let's be honest, it's only getting smarter. It's amazing when an app perfectly anticipates what you need. But as this technology gets scarily good at predicting our every move, you've got to wonder, where do you draw the line between a helpful assistant and an unwelcome intruder?